Welcome to ESPN Classic Canada. I'm your host, Chris Schultz. Today we look back to 1987 in a regular season game between the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The best game of the CFL season is our Grey Cup Championship game, but the next best may be the Labor Day traditions of Toronto at Hamilton, Edmonton at Calgary, and this classic of Winnipeg at Saskatchewan. This turned out to be a truly competitive, exciting game, won in the last minute, but what also made it interesting were the great individual players, now CFL Hall of Famers. Number 81, Ray Elgard. Number 44, Roger Aldag, both for Saskatchewan. Number 63, Chris Walby. And number 21, James Murphy for Winnipeg. Also in the Hall of Fame is Bomber quarterback Tom Clements, who made this season his last in the CFL. Sit back and enjoy the tradition here on ESPN Classic Canada.
Good news in that regard today from Taylor Field. This is a virtual sellout, and that is usual on this Labor Day weekend game here in Regina. Labor Day weekend in this city is a bit of Mardi Gras, Grey Cup, Halloween, New Year's Eve, all rolled together with a football game, the focal point, and Trevor Kennard's kickoff is going to get that football game underway. Winnipeg is a better team according to the standings, but everybody says throw it out, especially on this day. The opening kickoff. Walter Bender, Tim McRae's backfield replacement, also returning kicker today. And Saskatchewan gets it started with a 24-yard Bender return.
Tom Burgess will have an opportunity with good field position to take the ball. But we'll find out what that secret offense that John Gregory was talking about that he didn't want to tell us about it. He said he's made some changes, didn't want to let us in on them. I think we're going to see them early.
Burgess needs a good start. He's completed only 9 of his last 28 passes and has had 4 of them intercepted. He's rolling and throwing too high for Tony Dennis, who's taken down a little bit late. We had a beautiful day in Regina yesterday. It's not quite that way today. 18 degrees. It is a windy day. And the turf, of course, is to nobody's liking, because it's so hard. It'll be second down. Saskatchewan from its 34-yard line. Both teams were talking about rollout attacks with their passers, and Burgess has rolled the first 2 times out. He's going to run this time. Still on his feet, but short of a first down is Tom Burgess.
Well, when you roll out the football, the quarterback better have his chin strap tightened up because there's a good chance that he'll run. And Burgess likes to run. He's good at it. But when he gets upfield, he's going to have to deal with Tyrone Jones, James West, Darrell Patterson, and Delbert Fowler, the 4 linebackers that are very active and very solid hitters.
Saskatchewan has run into some recent problems with its punting game. Terry Baker would like that average to be higher. And that won't help. A line drive shot is fielded very quickly. No return, but still the punt didn't travel too far, only 29 yards.
See an opportunity where Tom Clements will take charge of this offense. Last week against BC, they didn't get anything going really until the second half. He became a little bit more mobile, started to throw on the run, and he really executed awfully well and had a lot of balls dropped on him.
And the last time Winnipeg played Saskatchewan, it really wasn't a contest for a half. Only 10-3 at halftime, so Winnipeg tries to get started faster, and Clements begins with an incompletion, trying to hit Pat Kenton.
Mike Riley thinks offensively, they might be a little bit too predictable now. He says we've got some new wrinkles today. New wrinkles means moving Tom Clements around. Don't give the defense a stationary object to go after. Move that pocket, then it's tough to blitz him because you never know where you're blitzing to.
2nd and 10, Winnipeg from the Bombers' 41. Just underway here on the Labor Day weekend in Regina. In the pocket is Clements. He tries to bring the rushers to him and then throws around them to Cantor, and right up the middle into Saskatchewan territory goes the Winnipeg fullback.
Pat Cantner running hard. We saw him in the hotel today. He said he was kept up by a bunch of fans last night. One way to get the heat off your quarterback in the offensive line, start early. Screen draw. Perfectly set up screen. Cantor gets an opportunity to set up the blocks for his offensive lineman and takes it straight upfield. Doesn't waste any time.
From the Riders 48, Reeves juggled the ball his first trip and gets 3.
Stop was made by 78.
That right there is enough to let the guys like Curry and Lowe pursue from behind and close the play down.
Willard Reeves entered this game needing 26 yards for 1,000, and as I say, it is almost automatic that he'll get it, although that's what we thought last week in Vancouver when he was held to 13 yards. Clements throwing it deep, and Murphy has it batted away from him by Harry Skipper. It was a good pass, but the coverage was a little bit better.
The skipper had to be right on the receiver.
At Winnipeg, number 51.
Glenn Suter, the safety, came up to the left side of the defensive formation and blitzed and put pressure on Tom Clements. Clements still had the time to throw it, but the coverage had to be excellent.
The Riders declined the penalty against left tackle David Black, making it 3rd down. They could have moved the Bombers 5 yards back, but of course would have given them 2nd down again, and they are gambling that Trevor Kennard cannot make a field goal from 53 yards. He will have the benefit of the wind, though.
Well, that wind can be funny sometimes when you're kicking the football. Sometimes it'll carry it, but sometimes it'll push it down.
52-yard attempt. Kennard has it good. Field goals this year, but he made one there from 52 yards out, and so the Winnipeg Blue Bombers lead by a score of 3-0. Saskatchewan at its 35-yard line. Here comes the Winnipeg blitz. Burgess throws the ball away from it. For a first down and more to the Winnipeg 48.
By 37, Benny Thompson. Jake Hancock plays Saskatchewan 84, Brown.
Well, he really did have to throw this one exactly when he threw it, or he was going down. Injuries don't help anybody. Saskatchewan played a lot of the Edmonton game without both starting running backs, Tim McRae and David Conrad. And now they have starting wide receiver Todd Brown injured and in some pain. Willis Jaycox, the kick return specialist, will be his replacement.
I don't think there's a question that Jaycox can go in and fill in and do a good job, but Gregory had mentioned earlier that he isn't quite as refined as Brown. He doesn't run the patterns that Brown does. He's got all sorts of ability. He's just got to learn the system a little bit more.
It's hard to say whether that injury will keep Todd Brown out a while or not. He is obviously favoring the wrist and not feeling too good right now. First down Saskatchewan at the 48-yard line after a big play from Burgess to Brown. This is Bender. Good hard hitting into that line for Walter Bender, close to the 40-yard line.
Well, we see different action in the backfield. One back goes the other way, takes a quick fake, and Bender comes around and takes a handoff and really does get an opportunity and some room to explode up in there. When he can do that, when any running back has the room or an area to hit up into, that's when they can accelerate. That's when they're tough to bring down.
Gain close to the 41. So call it a 7-yard gain, second down, 3, and they don't get the first down.
Ball carriers Bender.
Jones does a good job of reading, coming off the block and slides inside. He has to break down here. Look at the play, nice spin move inside and makes the hit on Bender. Showed us some quickness too.
Third and 2, and into that wind, they will ask Terry Baker to punt. David Ridgway not on for the field goal, which would normally be the case without the wind. And they fake it, snap it into the line, and don't make it.
It's a great time to run a fake. Direct snap to the up back. But should he have bounced it outside?
Well, Winnipeg expected Saskatchewan to come with a little of this and everything of that today.
It's short by about a foot.
Well, they don't waste much time over the ball, and they snap it directly to David Conrad. Now he has to read, and I can see what he's looking at. He thinks he's got a cutback there, but things slow down very quickly in front of him. I think he would have been better off, of course it's easy for me to say watching the replay, to keep going with the momentum and pushing outside, staying low, and then just diving for that first down.
Clemens stands in. The big target is Nikaraki, and he just shielded the defenders with his body from the football and enabled himself to make the catch.
Nikaraki tackled by Fuller. It's first down, Winnipeg.
Here he goes down and just strictly turns inside of a zone area, and he is such a big target. But again, even though he has the size, he continues to come back to the football, so Joe Fuller really doesn't have an opportunity to get to the ball. He can make the tackle, but he can't knock the ball down.
Bombers approaching midfield. They lead 3-0. Willard Reeves bounces off, and the yards aren't coming as easily for Willard Reeves as they did 2 weeks ago. Here's the guy who's got the assignment to stop him.
On the play. Second and 7 now.
Albright makes a decision to go inside and get involved in the tackle as we look at some ice on the left wrist of Todd Brown.
It's badly sprained, and they don't expect him to return today, so already a blow in the injury department to Saskatchewan. Some play action allows Clemens to throw to Araki. The pass is behind him before the contact was made, and so there is no flag.
It's close quarters in there. Rod Fisher on the coverage, man-to-man, has quite a job. They're only 5'10", 190 pounds. He gives away a little bit of height and weight to Nikaraki, who's 6'6" and 2 1/4.
Winnipeg with the punt team on the field very fast. Saskatchewan having to line up quickly, and Cameron will be punting with this strong wind. Bob Cameron takes advantage of it. Willis Jaycox as it bounced away from him into the end zone, and he is tackled. Winnipeg leads 4-0. I guess even research scientists are allowed to have some fun.
But only on Labor Day.
First down, Saskatchewan from the 35, and the Winnipeg defense, as it did the last time the Riders had the ball.
We've mentioned the 4 linebackers, but the down 3, Mark Seal at one end, Michael Gray at the other, and Stan Mikowas in the middle. They're very mobile, very aggressive, and they like the attitude that they portray of pressure. We want to make things happen, so we're going to go after people.
Second and 10. Tom Burgess has had one big play to Todd Brown, but it took Todd Brown out of the game. And now they take too long putting the second down play into motion. Saskatchewan's offense.
Time count violation, Saskatchewan number 16.
After scoring 25 or more points in 5 straight games, Saskatchewan has only 19 total points in its last 2 games. Those have been rough games for Tom Burgess. And for the other quarterbacks, Jeff Bentram, and obviously for John Huffnagel, whose comeback didn't last nearly as long as he or head coach John Gregory would have liked. Burgess is rocked as he throws the pass, and Tony Dennis was fighting Ken Haley for it. Nobody got it.
You have to account for everyone. If you don't, the quarterback has to read and get rid of the ball quickly because somebody should be open. The middle's nicely shored up, but from the outside, James Wild West gets a free shot at the quarterback. That's a good way to lose your quarterback.
Another punt into the wind for Terry Baker. Again, not too far. Ball is juggled, but
Taken by 26.
Clements for Iraqi. Tom Clements is an accurate passer at the best of times. It's hard not to be when you're throwing to Iraqi.
No, but it still had the Iraqi has to find the area, and that's how he can be so effective. You know, they got Perry Tuttle on the other side, who's got all the speed in the world, maybe one of the quickest inside receivers in the CFL. And then you've got that big, sure-handed guy on the inside who can also go deep. He's big. He doesn't look that fast, but I've seen him run by many a defensive back.
Second down, very short yardage for Winnipeg first down. Clements appeared to stumble after taking the snap from center, but he got the handoff to Pat Cantor, and the first down was made without trouble.
We chatted with John Gregory this morning. He said one of the ways you can be effective or to slow down Tom Clements, he thinks, is making him throw the long football. Take away the underneath and make him throw long. For one, he's going to hold on to the ball longer, and two, most people don't think he can throw the ball as effectively long as he used to.
He'll try to throw it deep this time, and open, touchdown, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Jeff Boyd.
Well, there goes that theory.
Right out the window. 39 yards. Clements to Boyd.
It's a foot race. Good job by the up front people of Winnipeg. The running backs, everyone picks their people up, and now Jeff Boyd gets a chance to utilize his speed. Just goes by to the outside, and the ball was thrown right on the money. Not only can he play safety, but he's a pretty good receiver, too.
It's the 18th touchdown pass of the season for Tom Clements. He leads the league in that department.
Jeff Boyd, the math teacher from L.A., calculated that pass pattern just about perfectly, didn't he?
Jeff Boyd's 32nd catch of the season. We talked about James Murphy last week not having too many catches, and now suddenly leads the league. Maybe it's Boyd's turn as Walter Bender brings the kickoff back nicely. There is a pilgrimage to Regina from Winnipeg, but of course the local fans come out too for this game, and they're quite anxious to see a victory by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. A lot of talk around town about what this team must do to improve. Some want patience and others cry for change. Burgess fires to Dennis, and he goes out just before he hits the 45-yard line. Short gain on first down from Burgess to Dennis. Trying to get 4 for the first down. Walter Bender will do that. John Gregory says they don't really lose much of anything when they switch from McCray to Bender. Walter Bender shows you just how the Saskatchewan running game continues to work in McCray's absence.
Well, Bender's getting upfield nicely. He's keeping his shoulder pad square, and he's looking, and the offensive line's doing a good job of knocking back and giving him a place to run.
Short roll by Burgess. He still looks for a receiver and won't find one. Gets out of bounds. Trying to keep the loss to a minimum. That Winnipeg rush comes all the time, and Saskatchewan knows that that's what's going to happen. An inexperienced quarterback is vulnerable to a lot of blitzing and a heavy rush in this or any other football league.
Well, the blitzing, what goes along with blitzing is different looks. People jumping around. So far in this game, he's tried to audible out of a situation that took too long because the Winnipeg defense is active.
Straight back is Burgess. Nice pass over the middle, Tony Dennis, and he's got the first down.
Burgess completes to Tony Dennis.
If Burgess gets an opportunity to see what's going on downfield, he'll be able to throw into different areas. You see Elgard come underneath, that holds some people in the middle. Dennis is over top of Elgard. He goes through another zone, and Burgess gets a chance to throw him the football.
Far sidelines, Dennis again. Riders need to establish something on offense. They would also like to take some time off the clock in this first quarter as they go into the wind. They're down 11 points, and when the wind blows like this, you almost expect to give up a lead when the other team comes in and takes the win. Saskatchewan trying to keep that lead to a minimum and get on the scoreboard itself. From the 44, they go right back to the sidelines, but the receiver wasn't there this time.
They've taken wide receiver Todd Brown to the hospital to get that wrist of his x-rayed to see exactly what the problem is.
Well, maybe they were being optimistic when they said sprain. Now they throw a wild kind of a gadget play for a first down. Jeff Bentram was in the game. He took a snap, threw a pass along the sidelines to Tron Armstrong, and he made the first down, and everybody sort of stood around on Winnipeg's side and wondered what was going on.
Well, you try to sneak him into the football game. Wearing the number 1, it's kind of tough not to notice him, but they did a good job of getting him in. All of a sudden, Winnipeg noticed, hey, it's not a punt. We got to play defense now. But there's no one out there covering. Tron Armstrong gets upfield and gets a first down.
Well, it didn't work the first time, the third down gamble. It did this time. Why not? Why not try it?
Well, I think it's a great call, and they executed it extremely well. Another casualty on the field, this time an official. Boy, they have a tough job. You know, they try to get in the middle of things and try to see what's going on, and people flying all over the place. They get knocked down, they get in pile up. They get a tough job. And at the same time, they get abused.
This is Ed Dunn, the head linesman who wears number 68, and he's still not right as he gets up and feels some pain. Ed Dunn takes a seat and will get a ride, and they will have a closer look at him.
Well, there's no question it's a first down. And Tom Burgess gets instructions from the sidelines. Winnipeg in this situation, when they get backed up, often become very aggressive, more so than they would in the middle of the field.
So the second trick play for Saskatchewan keeps the Riders going from the Winnipeg 28. Burgess into a crowd who was trying to hit Armstrong. Both Bomber defenders think they should have had a crack at that ball, and Armstrong really didn't for Saskatchewan.
Benny Thompson did a good job of reading the quarterback. He starts to move inside and then just stays where he was. He waits and waits, obviously watching Burgess, and Burgess almost threw the ball right to him.
Benny Thompson is in for the injured Ken Petway, and the Bombers also lost Darrell Sampson in Vancouver, so Thompson, who had a knee problem, is back in there and without a knee brace that he had been wearing. Burgess on second down throws underneath, and the pass is dropped by a little Willis Jaycox.
And then he received a little bit of a reminder from Scott Flagold, safety.
Dave Ridgway has a field goal streak, 17 in a row. The record, which was set earlier this season by Dean Dorsey of Ottawa, is 23 straight. Ridgway would like better conditions for this try at number 18 because of that wind. He has more difficulty than usual from 35 yards out. And it falls short. Flagle turns and gives up the single point, making it 11-1. So that's a pretty good indication of how strong the wind's blowing.
Well, we saw Trevor Kenner kick a long one, and Ridgway gets good connection on the ball. He knows he's hit it awfully well, but now he's just got to hope that the wind dies a little bit, and that ball just gets pushed down right in front of the bar.
It is Saskatchewan's first point, and it finds the Bombers with the ball at their 35-yard line. Clements, a minute and a half left with the wind. Hits Pat Cantner. With a good luck throwing to him and also firing the screen in this first quarter.
Well, they still get a pretty good rush from the Saskatchewan front four, but James Curry peels off early. He sees what's going on. He sees the offensive linemen have made their contact and are now moving off to the right, and he chases down Cantner.
From the 41, 2nd and 4, Winnipeg. Again, they'll try it long again to Jeff Boyd. He's got this one for the moment and then drops it. Under fire from Norris Gibbs. Jeff Boyd had it. The rule says you should hold it.
Well, Norris Gibbs has got his hands full with Jeff Boyd. Again, the ball's laid out almost perfectly. Boyd has to slow down just a little bit right here. Just a good defensive play.
Cameron, an excellent punt with a win. Joe Fuller back at his 8-yard line. Turns to the 5, and now comes upfield with some room on the sidelines if he can get away from the tackle.
That's it back to 16. $1,800 now. They'll do a 3-way split minute, and you're going to get 2%.
Flips into the air and lands on the 20-yard line.
Bennett put a nifty little move on there. He took the handoff and came around, trying to make the defensive man step to the out. Right here, he pops it right back inside. Almost fools James West. West just gets that arm back in and trips Bender up.
It is 2nd down. It'll be the last play of the first quarter. If the Riders don't make the first down, they'll be able to punt with the wind. They would, of course, like to move the sticks rather than kick, and the pass goes through Armstrong's hands.
Welcome back. Saskatchewan tried everything to get their offense going, including 2 fake punt gambles. For Winnipeg, the 39-yard Tom Clemens to Jeff Boyd pass was the best play of the quarter. Both coaches have some tough decisions as this game evolves. Speaking of the coaches, John Gregory would move on to win his first Grey Cup with Saskatchewan in 1989. Remember that game? Mike Riley, he'd win his first championship in 1988. Let's start the second quarter and look for a CFL record to be broken on the last play of the first half.
As usual, gain of the Gopher is evident here at Regina's Taylor Field. You'll see him at halftime, too, as he makes a special Canadian Football Network appearance. Bob Cameron's 2 punts with the win were 60 and 62 yards. Let's see how Terry Baker's first effort in this direction compares. Obviously, he didn't kick it very far against the wind. And that punt is not going to please him either. Winnipeg with good field position in Saskatchewan territory on the end of this punt.
Here's ISO Baker, ready blue.
Last time Baker kicked against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, he had 9 punts, averaged 30 yards, had 1 block. Seems to be rushing it. When he's dropping the ball seems to be to the outside of the foot. He's not getting good, solid contact.
Winnipeg right where they want to be against the wind with good field position. Willard Reeves' first decent gain of the day takes him near the 45-yard line.
He needs some room, a little bit of a counter step to the right to try to get the linebackers to move just a little bit.
Tracy Mack hit him low to make the tackle, and it's second down for the Blue Bombers. Clements flares to Cantor. He has to make sure he catches it, and he doesn't. It is an incomplete pass. Saskatchewan, just in case, picking up the ball. Just in case it was ruled a fumble, but Clements did throw it forward. Cantor had to come back after he bobbled it. It is incomplete, and now the Bombers have a kick to make into the wind unless they want to gamble too. But the way Cameron punted it in the first quarter, you might as well let him go again and try to get a decent one into the wind.
But Cameron has had a history of doing a good job punting into the wind.
Yeah, sure he does. Excellent punt. Both Saskatchewan returners watch it. And Bob Cameron gets a single point out of that. Winnipeg isn't going to turn down a single after what happened last week. So Cameron does a nice job with a punt into the wind, and he is a big factor so far. The advantage he has given versus Terry Baker has helped Winnipeg to this lead.
Bob Cameron is an awfully good kicker, but the reason he's been so successful for years in Winnipeg is his ability to kick the ball in bad weather and against the wind.
Willis Jaycox looks for a block or a hole that doesn't materialize.
Well, he saw nothing but numbers and white and gold helmets coming after him. When that play's set up, it's like a quick screen to the wide receiver. Now he's going to catch the ball. He would want to come back inside very briefly and then pop it back out. But he kept coming in. You keep coming in, you're going to run into those linebackers again.
Burgess never does do anything with the ball, but he didn't.
Delbert Fowler had an opportunity to blitz more. He always does a good job in coverage, but he thinks that he gets off the blocker better now than he has earlier on in the season. And this is just persistent. Conrad does a good job of blocking. That's like a sack for the defensive secondary. Great coverage downfield.
Well, Conrad couldn't have done more. He held Fowler out as long as you're supposed to hold him out. Baker fires it over both defenders' heads, and with a good bounce, he's going to get a wind-aided single. 12-2 now. Punting averages can be deceiving. Terry Baker's been having a bad day, but he just kicked a 90-yard single that will bring the numbers up and does give Saskatchewan another point. Winnipeg from its 35. Willard Reeves becomes even more important when you're going into the wind.
That defense is fired up. They're pursuing the ball. There's just not one or two people in on the tackle. There's 3 and 4 and 5, and they're going to keep sticking him and try to slow him down. As we look at Tracy Mack, who's filling in for Billy Jackson, who just had his knee re-scoped last week. There's just nowhere for him to run, and Heber's first in there, and then the rest of them just going to follow.
Willard Reeves needs 10 more yards for 1,000 on the season, and this is 10th game. Clements runs away from the rush, throws a pass to Murphy. Might have thrown it a little too hard, but the problems of dropped passes continue to show up for Winnipeg. Murphy dropped a few even in a good day last week, and Perry Tuttle had a miserable day.
I've always liked the way Tom Clements is able to move out of the pocket and look like he's ready to run downfield and all of a sudden see something. I mean, he's going to his right. He's able to find Murphy backside, peripherally, he just must have tremendous ability because he just turns and fires the ball. Unfortunately, it wasn't caught.
Cameron again into the wind. Not bad. It hangs up there long enough to let that coverage team get down and hold Jaycock's return to a minimum. It is Saskatchewan ball inside the Saskatchewan 45-yard line, and the Riders have to do something to use this win. We played almost 4 minutes of the second quarter, and the scoring is even in quarter number 2. A point each after Winnipeg, with the win in the first quarter, built up a 10-point cushion.
Saskatchewan first 10, starting at the 44-yard line.
Burgess a sub-500 pass completion percentage. First down from the 44. He runs as the flag comes down and gets 3 yards. Seems uncertain of himself back there. He's
Illegal contact, Winnipeg, number 72.
Delbert Fowler caught playing someone a little too close to the line. You're right, he does seem, he seems kind of antsy even in the straight drop back, and they started the game out sprinting him out. Why don't they continue? Why not sprint him out and get outside of guys like Fowler and Tyrone Jones and really put pressure on that defense to move and adjust to what the offense is doing?
Fowler has trouble understanding the call, but it is a first down for Saskatchewan at the Riders' 54-yard line. Burgess by Jaycock. That pass could as easily have been picked off. It was a bang-bang play.
Great concentration. Jaycock comes off the football. After he makes his cut, he's accelerating through that zone. You'll see West move to the right, and it just goes back behind him. Tries to adjust to the football. Good job of concentrating on the football with West standing in right in front of him.
West almost got a hand on it. Bender for a yard, no more.
Well, Stan Nicholas, who plays the nose, does such a good job. Really the unsung hero on those 3 defensive linemen up front. The addition of Mark Seal on that right end has helped them out, balanced off Mike Gray's rushing abilities. They're stronger now with those 3.
Burgess over the middle, Elgard reached around, couldn't hold it, and it is third down, and Ridgway will get a chance to try a 3-pointer.
All right, Burgess, I'm sure, is a little bit frustrated. Coming off the field, he sees the opening. He's delivering the ball quickly. He's getting it to the people he wants to. They're just not, the play isn't materializing completely for him.
He and the Saskatchewan Roughriders rank 8th and last in this league in total touchdowns with 17, and Ridgway will try to salvage 3 points. Ken Haley is the injured Blue Bomber.
It's an interesting story. You mentioned earlier on that Benny Thompson, back playing the halfback spot 2 weeks ago in practice, just took that knee brace off. Talked to the trainer as you're looking at him, Ross Hodgkinson there on the right, said, I don't want to wear it anymore. Check with the doctor because it really bothers me. And he hasn't put it on since. He's got the okay for the doctors, and away he goes.
Kennard made one with a win from 52. Ridgway tries it from 46 yards out, and his aim is true. Here's a try for one to Elgard, but his head, no interference because the ruling would be that Elgard couldn't have caught the pass, and you have to agree with that. He wasn't going to catch up to that.
No, he wasn't. When he ran his pattern, when he made his break, he looked up for the football. He kind of got it. He slowed down at that point.
But Saskatchewan is going to benefit from another penalty against Winnipeg. Roughing the passer, I think, is the call. He charged against Haley.
Well, that shoulder must not be bothering Haley too much.
by Tyrone Jones, but Tom Burgess had a receiver for what probably would have been a touchdown, and maybe this is why he didn't hit him.
Well, Burgess knows this is going to happen. There's a matchup right there, and that's a tough one. Tyrone Jones on Terry Cochran. Cochran does a good job of keeping him to the outside, but persistent as this defense is, they come in. Burgess has to know, every time he releases the football, somebody's going to hit him.
They'll try again on second down. This time he rolls out for a little help. Throws a pass too low. Covering was Roy Bennett. The intended receiver was Armstrong. That receiving corps has been dealt a blow with a loss early in the game of Todd Brown.
Now we watched Burgess sprint out there to the right side. Though it wasn't their completion, the one good thing about that was he threw the ball low to the outside. Only the receiver had an opportunity to catch it. Roy Bennett was not going to make his 7th interception of the year.
Penalties have allowed this field goal attempt. We'll see if they translate to 3 more points. Winnipeg leading by 4 points. Saskatchewan second and long after the sack from its 31-yard line. And Burgess has to run to get out of trouble again and will get out of bounds.
Ball into touch from the 25-yard line.
As Saskatchewan's Terry Baker will punt. When we say that most of the seats are gone for this game, here's proof.
Additional loss.
Some people have found a way into the ballpark to watch from the end zone. I don't know how much that costs, but
well, they all look very comfortable.
They don't allow any of those painted creatures down there, though, I don't think. Jeff Treflin returns the punt for Winnipeg.
Punt is taken by 29, Jeff Treflin.
Clemens picks out a receiver and gets 8 or 9 yards on the play. And it's against Winnipeg, and Clemens never shows frustration too much, but you get the feeling he's not too wild about the way this game has gone.
No, I don't think it is materializing the way he wants it. He gets flushed out of the pocket. They did a little bit of a play-action pass there to try to hold the defense, make them sit just for that 1 second. Then he got flushed out of the pocket. But again, he's so good at picking receivers out. And you've got to give the receivers like Pat Cantner some credit because they find the openings.
The Bombers have not scored very much in the first half 2 weeks ago, even against Saskatchewan. Last week against BC, and here again, this game is starting to resemble the last meeting between these teams when Winnipeg led by 7 at the half. Now it's a 4-point lead.
They're going to try to get Willard Reeves the ball any way they can. Reeves motions out of the backfield, lines up really just in between the slot back and the wideout, doesn't move a foot. The ball's thrown out to him. Now he's got people out in front of him. They want to get him rolling. His rock and roll is his type of football. They've got to give him some room to run.
Incomplete, and both teams are unhappy about that result. Jeff Boyd was hit as he came across, and he's down for Winnipeg. The Riders are going to get the ball back. 1:59 left.
Well, when you come across the middle like that, you really expose yourself to get banged up. Good protection for Clements. He just tries to drop it into an area and he gets banged. Somebody drops his shoulder. Tracy Mack. Oftentimes when a receiver hits the ground and the ball's gone by, they have a tendency to relax, and that's when the contact was made. Caught him off guard.
Boyd is responsible for the only touchdown in this game. Gave Winnipeg an 11-0 lead, and it covered 39 yards. Boyd had Norris Gibbs beaten. Almost did it again later on in the first quarter. Juggled the ball and took a bit of a hit from Gibbs and couldn't hold on to it. But that's been the extent of the threatening Winnipeg offense. Reeves has struggled again. Clements has had trouble finding receivers. He's had a couple dropped on him. And the Winnipeg offense sputters.
Well,
Saskatchewan, of course, with only kicking points, can't be any better.
I was going to say one of the bright spots all year for the Saskatchewan Roughriders has been their defense. They've lost some people. Billy Jackson's been in and out of the lineup. But they've played aggressively. They've been a very strong part of this football team, but they can't continue to keep them on the field like they have been in the past and expect them to hold up.
This is Jaycock as fast as he can, outside, gonna block. Flags come down, and that usually means a penalty against the team with the football.
Holding Saskatchewan number 74 on the return, back 10, first down.
First down with 1:48 to go from the 30-yard line. Riders trying to cut into or wipe out Winnipeg's 4-point lead. That's a tough catch to ask Bender to make as he reaches back for the pass from Tom Burgess. Second down.
Well, Bender's out in the flat, and one of the rare occasions we see Tyrone Jones dropping to the flat area where he's responsible for. If he doesn't rush, he really turns into a linebacker when he doesn't blitz all the time. Bender almost made a nice one-handed catch, and he would have been down the sideline.
Here they come after Tom Burgess. He throws it away.
Only a few times this afternoon has Tom Burgess, whether it be a sprint out or drop back, has an opportunity to plant his feet and really get himself in a good position to throw the football. Fowler's responsibility as an outside linebacker is to try to cut the sprint out down. Make him pull up so the pursuit can catch him. Fowler did a good job, and once again, Burgess has to throw the ball away.
John Gregory said Tom Burgess is clearly his #1 quarterback, but obviously Jeff Ventrum is available and has completed a pass in this game already out of what looked to be, for a minute, punt formation. Baker's punt in Treflin's hands now. And the Bombers will probably be happy to take this 4-point lead to the dressing room, though they do have the option of trying to move the football here from their 50-yard line and score some more points. And the trouble the offense has had, I assume that Clements will attempt to do that.
50-yard line.
Right now, the worst that Winnipeg should hope for is to keep this 12-8 lead. Over the middle, Nikaraki makes the catch. Coverage is good. He's not going anywhere after he takes that one, as Tracy Mack is playing tough against Nikaraki.
David Albright in different defenses has obviously different responsibilities. He's going to drop straight back in his zone and try to keep everything in front of him. And he reacts immediately to Nikaraki, who releases off the line of scrimmage, comes underneath. He just does a good job of closing and cutting the game down to 8 yards.
Clements looking for a first down. The interference is called. Hand in the back for the reacher.
Forward pass interference, number 26, Saskatchewan. First down.
Well, what looks to be like a good defensive play, and actually was, Skipper got caught with his left hand on the back of the receiver. You can't do that. You can't control the receiver with one hand and knock the ball down with the other.
That's Winnipeg's first down in the second quarter. Clements on the run, throws it too high for Pat Kantner, and he paid for it by taking the hit from Joe Fuller.
Fuller has to come all the way up the field from his halfback spot and take the third man out. The wide receiver will be number 1 going into the pattern. The slot back will be number 2, and the running back will be number 3 to that side. That's Fuller's responsibility. Has to come a long way, but he gets up and not only breaks the play up, but puts a good hit on Kantner.
Bearing in mind the wind, the Bombers do have to move the football to get any sort of a field goal try. Clements throws to Kantner, and he's not going anywhere. Loses a yard in the play, and so on third down, Cameron will be asked to do what he did early in the second quarter, and that's get a great punt away into the wind and try to score a point with 58 seconds left. I think he's going to try for as much distance as possible, or maybe this is the time when Winnipeg looks for a fake.
Oh, really, it's perfect timing for a fake. They're in the right part of the field. They really don't have a lot to lose, and this formation makes you wonder.
Well, Cameron will punt it. He's confident of his ability to kick it into the wind. He doesn't get it to the end zone, but Saskatchewan it is. With Fuller ruled down well deep in its own zone. Now there's a flag that comes down, and I don't know what that's for. The whistle blew. Fuller got up and ran some more.
Face mask, Winnipeg, number 33. First down.
Well, Fuller does a good job here of getting back upfield and making himself a little bit smaller than he is by getting through a crack. And there you see the hand on the face mask by Pat Kantner.
36 seconds to go. The ball is at Saskatchewan's 31.
23.
Riders have the wind, and I guess maybe give it one crack through the air to see if they can get into position to add to their point total. And otherwise, don't do anything foolish. Well, they're going to take the conservative approach on first down.
Ball carriers 32, Victor.
And the fans, I don't think, are in agreement.
I think if you, instead of handing the ball off, maybe run a sprint out, and then you've got the quarterback that has the option to run the football or throw it. He also has a good view of what's going on. When you sprint out with a football, you cut the field in half, really. It's tough to throw backside. You won't make any mistakes. You just don't make that mistake when you sprint out, and then you can't hurt yourself.
20 seconds, the clock moving after the running play. Safe pass to the sidelines. Armstrong tries to cut it upfield, gets to the 45-yard line with a first down and 10 seconds to go. Riders right up to the ball, lose no time putting it into play. And they take a timeout. Timeout call. It's a little curious that if they wanted to think in terms of scoring, they'd run the play they did on first down with Bender.
Yeah, it is kind of strange because it sets up absolutely nothing. You throw the ball one more time on first down, maybe you give Dave Ridgway even a better chance to kick what looks going to be a heck of a long field goal as it is, even with the wind.
He is going to try for the first 60-yard field goal in CFL history. It's good! It's a new CFL record, 60 yards.
Boy, he made it look smooth, too.
Welcome to halftime of the 1987 Labor Day Classic, Winnipeg at Saskatchewan. Interesting half in that the Bombers have outplayed the Roughriders throughout. Their combination of defensive line and linebacker pressure, that has not allowed Tom Burgess any time to find his receivers. But key here is the fact that Saskatchewan is keeping it close. No touchdowns, but field goals by Dave Ridgway, and the punting of Terry Baker is keeping the game within reach. Second half of this Labor Day Classic is coming up right now.
The second half of this one is underway. Saskatchewan is with the wind in the third quarter, and this is what happens when you've got a team that's struggling. You want to carry whatever momentum was there from the Ridgway field goal just as far as you can without interruption.
Well, I think they know it's time. With, as you said, they're going to have the wind this quarter. They're going to have to start to get in the end zone. They can't rely on Dave Ridgway. That won't give them a good enough cushion. They need some majors.
First down, Riders from the 45-yard line. Pass is picked off. Roy Bennett is the league leader, and he's just got his 7th. Winnipeg ball at the 54, and just like that, the advantage of the win in the third quarter is nullified.
It seemed like almost a sneaky interception. Bennett is playing off the receiver, does a good job of almost giving the impression to the quarterback that the receiver's open. Then he just moves on the ball. Burgess releases the ball. He comes in quickly in front of the receiver, makes a nice interception.
Willard Reeves to the 48-yard line. The Blue Bombers leading by a single point. Willard Reeves needed 26 yards for 1,000. He averages 108 yards per game in the first 9 games. At that rate, he would break Will Burden's 1975 record of 1,896 yards. But it would take him 18 games to do it, and Burden's season was 16 games. Nikaraki for the first down to the 42.
Once again, Nikaraki over the middle. Clements has found Iraqi a number of times this afternoon. And we saw after he caught the ball, he tucked it away, knew he was going to be hit.
First down, Blue Bombers in Saskatchewan territory against the wind. Clements throws an interception right into the arms of Tracy Mack. Penalty flag goes down on Mack's return. But he had no trouble picking off that pass.
Tracy Mack gives the offense good field position, but there's a penalty flag thrown, and I'm not sure why, but we're going to find out.
There was no penalty on the play. First down.
Well, Tracy Mack just goes with the throw at the defense. He reads what the quarterback's doing, then he drops back. You see him on the right side of your screen backpedaling, and he just moves across the middle. All he's doing is reading the quarterback's eyes.
Clements saw the receiver going there, but he should have seen the defender standing there. 50-yard line, first down, Saskatchewan with an exchange of turnovers here. Burgess to Jaycox, and they haul him down right at midfield.
What they're hoping for in that situation, so wide. Great speed ability, comes off, three-quarter speed, tries to get Jefferson to backpedal. Now he wants to spin to the outside. As you can almost see, he's got the ball tucked away. He's expecting to get hit, but I think he's hoping that Jefferson will be a little bit too aggressive and bounce off. Then he'd have the sidelines all to himself.
Drop Walter Bender, first down, 45 on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
32, Bender.
Just a straight dive, a good job by the offensive line coming off the football. Walter Bender gets the ball deep in the backfield. He's about 3 or 4 yards back from the line of scrimmage. That gives him an opportunity to see what the offensive line's doing, find the seam, and get upfield.
Burgess retreats, throws a long pass. Elgard jockeying for position with Benny Thompson. who had excellent coverage.
That was good coverage on Elgard. Almost seemed a little bit like a roller derby there. There's some elbows going back and forth.
We are one official short for the rest of this game. Ed Dunn, a pulled calf muscle, has gone to the hospital, and the officials who are left heard from Tracy Tyrone Jones on that play, and the pass is thrown near a first down to Willis Jaycox. Where do they spot the ball? That is going to be important as to what the down is and what the call is for Saskatchewan. Jaycox cutting across the middle. Caught that pass nicely with a good hit by James Jefferson right as the ball got there. So it is third down, just outside the 35-yard line. They get across at 35, they move the sticks. Bender dives and does it.
Well, they're controlling the line of scrimmage. In this series, they've done a good job of both in protection and giving Bender some room to run. And this is just, you just want to unload right behind perennial all-star Roger Aldag.
Bender outrushed Willard Reeves in the first half, not by much. He had 23 yards and Reeves only 18. First down, Saskatchewan at the Bomber 33. Not much there for Bender as Ty Jones is in on the play.
Saskatchewan tries to sweep to the short side of the field, hopefully trying to get away from their strength, but all they do is stretch it out. Make them run to the sidelines. They do the job.
With the win, they can take the lead with the Dave Ridgway field goal, but the Saskatchewan Roughriders want to find that end zone. As we said, they are last in the league in touchdowns. Over the middle, Burgess, the Winnipeg coverage got fouled up, and Cochran got behind it, but couldn't catch the pass as the sun peeks through for Dave Ridgway.
That could have been a big play. Cochran goes down the field. He's in Tyrone Jones has man coverage on him, but he almost hit Benny Thompson coming underneath almost picked Tyrone Jones off of Cochran. Could have been wide open if they could have dropped the ball on that.
Riders lead by 9, but that's not necessarily big enough with the Bombers getting the win in the fourth quarter. So Saskatchewan will try to keep the pressure on Winnipeg as Jeff Treflin comes back at the kickoff return. He's at the 25 and down at the 30.
And their offense is moving. He wants that ball back right now. Defense goes in and out 2 plays. They want to do this a few more times before this quarter's over.
It was a struggle, especially in the first quarter for Tom Burgess, but since then, Saskatchewan has done most of the scoring. It has been a very good game for those 3 Saskatchewan linebackers. The Winnipeg backers have been prominent too, but probably not as good as Albright, Lowe, and Mack. Clements for Iraqi, and the coverage there was pretty good. The pass was incomplete, and it is third down. Bombers. The best thing they did there was get a first down to keep the ball a little while, and of course the penalty allowed them to keep it in the first place. Cameron has punted well with and against the wind. Here's another good one. Jaycox. First man there hit him. What happened to the football? The score, Saskatchewan 21 and Winnipeg 12. Left, third quarter, and Winnipeg defense. It's hard. That's Ty Jones on Walter Bender. The Bombers, of course, trailing by 9, but they do have Saskatchewan deep in its own zone, and the Bombers will have the win in the fourth quarter.
Tyrone Jones, always effective when he's slashing through there. He gets himself a gap. What they're trying to do, Saskatchewan, is sprint out a bit and try to get the defense off guard. Tyrone Jones just comes full blast, as he always does, runs right into the play.
Draw play. Very strong against the run.
Well, it's tough to run a draw. Running it on the second down like that, it's easy for me to say. As we take a look at Norris Gibbs, who suffered a minor concussion in the contact with Bob Cameron trying to block that last punt. When Winnipeg brings all those people all the time, there are very few areas to run a draw in. I think it'd be a little bit more effective or have better luck if they ran a screen.
He gets a fine punt away. Tough one all the way back at his 40. Up to the 53, and so the Bombers with a minute 19 left have the ball in good shape, knowing that they'll get the wind very soon. Now this sets up an interesting finish. You have to assume Winnipeg is going to outscore Saskatchewan in the fourth quarter. That's the way it's gone. Whoever has the win gets the points.
Good field position right now. I think Tom Clements will try to methodically move their team down and get some points before the quarter ends.
Well, that would be a bonus. Having the ball in good shape with the wind is something the Bombers are right now. A little screen by Cantor.
Well, taking a look at Bobby Jurison, who's been quiet today, with 14 sacks coming into this game, comes very close to getting his 15th.
Oh, Murphy and Tuttle and all of those Winnipeg receivers are proven. Sometimes they drop passes, and you hope they don't drop them all at once. There's a great catch.
You might see here some of the defensive backs assuming that the ball's over his head, standing around and watching a little bit. The guys coming up from behind, Dave Sidhu should be coming that much harder.
Tough enough catch without the hit on the end of it, but Tuttle was whacked by Rod Fisher when he came down. Reeves a short gain on first down. And the clock is slowly winding down to make this the final play of the third quarter.
Well, it's this type of grinding offense that all of a sudden Willard Reeves pops through on a draw or a straight handoff and hits you for about 50 or 60 yards.
Well, the quarter started with an interception thrown by Tom Burgess, followed by an interception thrown by Tom Clements. The quarter really belonged to the Roughriders. They used the wind, which is always a factor in Regina, and they adjusted to the pass rush of Winnipeg, giving Burgess more time. Quarters 1 and 2, well, they were Winnipeg's. The third went to Saskatchewan, and this was Rider pride coming back. Let's take you out for the fourth and final quarter of this game.
Hold this one. He's only going to get 1 point. Not yet does the point go up there, as the Riders will run as much time off the clock as they can. But it's a single point, and it cuts the gap to 8. Ball comes back, of course, following the unsuccessful field goal to the point at which the ball was scrimmaged. And it's at the 37, Burgess throwing to Elgard, who's got a catch for a loss. Came back to the ball and lost a yard.
Michael Gray's in hot pursuit of Tom Burgess, who's sprinting to the right side, trying to give himself some options, but he had to. When you sprint out, you try to stay parallel to the line of scrimmage, and at that point, Burgess was being chased back.
Here comes Ty Jones and Burgess. He got rid of it, and the ball was dropped.
Accepted, incomplete.
Good protection for Burgess. Sort of a semi-roll to the right-hand side. And as Winnipeg continues to put pressure on from all aspects, whether it be wide out or up the middle.
Well, Terry Baker wasn't making 30 yards when he was punting into the wind earlier. Has to try to match Cameron with what Cameron has done into the wind. It's been a big help to Winnipeg, even though the Bombers trail by 8 points. It would be more probably if Cameron hadn't done a good job. Now here's one of those bad bounces. Everybody tries to get out of the way. Look out for Baker. Teflon picks it up. No flags are down. But the ball is at the 51-yard line of Saskatchewan. And the punt winds up being 16 yards with a 2-yard return. Saskatchewan netting only 14 on the exchange.
Heads up play by Jeff Teflon, getting on the ball, bouncing around. And also good play downfield. One of the Bombers picked off Baker as he was trying to pursue and recover that short punt.
That's why a gamble on third down into the wind is such a bad idea. With a no yards penalty on that play, and that was possible. Saskatchewan could have gambled and missed it and not lost a thing compared to what happened on the punt. Clements on first down. Clements on the run, and Barry Tuttle, after a great catch, makes one of those drops again that causes so much anguish.
These guys have been in the game since the opening kickoff. They understand what their responsibilities are. Sometimes they've got to block. Sometimes they get the ball thrown to them. And here he just comes back to the football, tries to catch it away from his body, as good receivers do. Just keeps going right through. Hits the shoulder pads. I don't really know if there's an excuse for it. I'm sure no one's more upset about it than that man right there, Barry Tuttle.
It sure doesn't help Clements' statistics when passes like that are dropped. Here's a screen. Keeps Tuttle in to take this one, and they are short of a first down.
That could have turned into a big play. Saskatchewan gambles, brings the halfback. They bring Dave Sidhu up. Tuttle often blocks in situations, gathered his feet after he gets the ball's bounce, gets upfield, a good play by Skipper or a good play by the turf, one or both.
Well, the Bombers are third down and about 2 yards to go. There was some thought, it looked like, on the sidelines of going for this. But Kennard will try a 50-yard field goal. He just missed from 44, but he was good from 52 earlier. This to cut the lead to 5. That one is no good. Cameron, the holder, can't understand it. Kennard runs downfield for a better look. I wonder whether he's standing too far away from the ball. 6 minutes remaining. Dave Ridgway has 5 field goals today, and Saskatchewan has a 9-point lead. Wynn holds the ball up for Teflon. He's tackled with the ball somewhat exposed. The effect of Ridgway's 5th field goal is that Winnipeg must now score twice to win this game. Less than 6 minutes to do it. Clements throws the screen again. They kept Tuttle in, but a fine tackle by the CFL's leading tackler, Dave Albright.
Boy, that's a great play. The play's nicely set up, but it's broken up by David Albright, who's dropping straight back. He sees, he's reading out the offensive lineman right in front of him. You can't hold Bob Jerison down all game.
Intercepted by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Extra back, Dave Sidhu. They put 6 defensive backs in, and the 6th one is David Sidhu. The good news for the Riders is they have the lead and they have the ball, but the bad news is Tom Burgess has an injured shoulder, and Jeff Bettram has come into the game at quarterback.
He hasn't seen an awful lot of action. He had played very well in his first game of the season, but had a tough one against BC in his second. Hopefully he's learned something from this game so far.
Well, you look for Walter Bender in this situation. Bettram bumped into Bender. There was movement on both lines before the ball was snapped, and obviously flags down.
Offside, Winnipeg, number 72.
Bettram comes into the game with not an awful lot of experience, but he's got an awful lot of ability. John Gregory likes what he can do, but what he does bring to the table right now is great running ability, and I'm sure he's been instructed, if you don't see it, either eat it or take off downfield.
Penalty against Winnipeg helps the Saskatchewan cause because the Riders, I don't think, will want to throw the ball. They got 1st and 5 to run it with. Bender will make that first down on his first try.
Roy Skelrud, Roger Aldag, and Mike Anderson at center have controlled the line of scrimmage.
There are no secrets now. Saskatchewan wants to try to run the ball. Winnipeg will have to try to stop that, get the ball back, and score twice to win. Bender again. No gain, but the clock does move. Under 4 minutes now.
A lot of pressure on the Winnipeg defense. Mark Seal, Mick Ross, and Mike Gray, the front three, with support from Jones, West, Patterson, and Delbert Fowler. We're going to have to shut them down here.
That from quarterback draw gets nowhere, but again, that clock does move. It's approaching the 3-minute mark, and on 3rd down, they'll send in Baker. I'd almost be tempted to try a Ridgeway field goal, and with the kind of power he's putting into his kicks.
Well, the last one he kicked against the wind, he had a lot of power, and it went into the end zone a good 15 yards. So
it's hardly a bad thing if he doesn't make it. He could get the field position you want the way he's been kicking the field goals, maybe better than Baker with the punts. Scoring isn't too important. Keeping Winnipeg deep after the Bombers field this kick is the important thing for Saskatchewan right now. Let's see how Baker does. Just fine. Too good. They score a point they didn't really want. Well, there's a story told by that rushing total for Winnipeg. That, of course, means and the Bombers have rushed for only 53 yards. Saskatchewan has outrushed the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and has outgained them in every way. 2:41 left, and the Bombers have to make something happen now in a hurry. Clements deep. Huddle haul that one in. He catches the ones he could perhaps drop without any problem, without having to explain himself, and he has dropped some that should be easy.
Well, he certainly went up and snatched that away. I think Joe Filler felt he was going to be able to tip the ball away, maybe even going for the interception.
Everything is hurry up now for the Bombers. Draw to Reeves, and again, somewhat unexpected. The call to Willard Reeves as the Bombers try to score fast, but he does gain some yards.
Well, that's when Willard Reeves can hurt you the most, when the defense is expecting and assuming that you're going to throw the football. Just hand that ball quickly to Willard Reeves. That's a very quick draw situation. He gets upfield.
It is 2nd down, Winnipeg. Clock moves near 2 minutes. Reeves gets the pitch. Al Johns had him and lost him, and Reeves gets the first down.
Well, a lot of people feel you can be successful against Willard Reeves and the Winnipeg offense by making Willard bounce it out, looking inside, not finding a hole, and keep stretching it out, just stretching to the sidelines.
Wide open receiver. Murphy catches this one, and that's the first catch for the league leader, James Murphy, with 12 last week.
That's been a tough day for Murphy. He's had a couple of balls he feels he should have caught. He secures this one coming over the middle. Get a look at what Tom Clements has to look at. Murphy settles down, but then they close in on him quickly.
From the 18, they need 3. Reeves nears that 15-yard stripe and should have the first down with 1:44 to go. Bombers have to score here, then in all likelihood try to recover a kickoff and score again. I don't think they'll have the kind of time left if they do score to kick the ball long, with only 1:44 remaining now. First things first, the first down is made.
Well, now that they put it in the air, so the clock will stop if there's an incompletion. Like you said, there's not an awful lot of time left. I'm sure they would prefer to score here and kick the ball off and make a defensive stand rather than trying a short kick.
Well, anything that is short of the end zone now doesn't make much sense. They've got to try to throw it over each and every time. And hopefully just once. Let's see what happens. Clements throws it underneath to Iraqi. He makes some yards out of the 5-yard line, probably for another first down. But the clock remains against Winnipeg. They'll get a break here if they have to measure. No, it's a first down without a measurement. From the 5, Clements throws that touchdown, James Murphy, with 1:21 to go. And Saskatchewan hasn't won yet.
They show they can move the ball down the field quickly. And all you have to do is get over the goal line. You don't have to get over by much.
Well, Trevor Kennard hasn't been able to make field goals in this fourth quarter. He now has an important convert to make, and that gives him no trouble. Reduces Saskatchewan's lead to 3 points. Kennard deep. Saskatchewan wasn't prepared for it. The ball will go straight through the end zone with nobody touching it, so it could have been worse for the Roughriders. Now, why would they not have anybody back there?
Well, oftentimes when you've got your short kickoff return team in or onside kick return team, they don't put a man deep, or they didn't put a man deep. You should always have a man deep in case they kick it, because the guys up front can always run back, peel back, and make a block.
Out without a point scored to the 25-yard line, and Jeff Bentram remains the Saskatchewan quarterback with Tom Burgess injured. Bentram throws it away with some poise for a rookie.
Good job of controlling himself, going to the sidelines and getting it where no one else can catch it unless it's somebody on the bench of the Bombers.
But I must ask what they're doing throwing the ball.
Well, they need one first down. If they can get a first down, they can win this football game. But I'd be running it. Let's get that clock moving.
Not much time off the clock with that first down play. Now it forces them if they want to move the sticks to throw on second down, and that pass is incomplete. I don't know, 2 running plays, no matter what they gain, would right now look a lot better than those 2 passing plays.
Oh, it certainly would. Makes you wonder right now what they were thinking about. Now, if Burgess was in the game, maybe I can see it. He has a better handle. Bentram goes in. Cole hasn't had the opportunity to really get into it and know what the defense is showing him. It's awfully tough on the rookie.
Gary Baker punts, and he'd love another 53-yarder into that win, but if he gets something like the other 3, the Bombers are in great shape with more than a minute to go. End over end. Caught by Treflin, and he'll make some yards on the return as well. And what do you know? The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have a shot at this. And wouldn't it be something if it came down to Trevor Kennard trying to tie it on yet another field goal attempt in this fourth quarter?
Well, it's all going to come back to that last series. You've got to question the calls. 2 passing plays. Even if you're not successful in getting a first down, as you said earlier, it runs precious time and seconds off that clock.
Well, especially when you've got your second-string quarterback in the game, and he is a rookie.
Boy, once again, the pressure falls on the 12 men on the field, on the defense.
And a game that has been downright horrible for the Winnipeg offense, for receivers, particularly Tuttle and Murphy. For kicker, Trevor Kennard can still be salvaged by the Blue Bombers. Treflin, the punt returner, is injured, and he is in this lineup because Darryl Sampson is out of it for about 6 weeks. So the injuries hurt the special teams, the kick returners for Winnipeg. It does give the Blue Bombers lots of time to ponder what they want to do with this final 63 seconds. The football sitting at the Saskatchewan 37-yard line. The best way to take the heat off Kennard would be to score a touchdown, of course.
Well, this may be when the 13th man can come into play. The fans here at Taylor Field could try to disrupt the Winnipeg offense as much as they can, be as loud and as noisy as they can, so the signals can't be called. You're going to count on them. You're going to count on them now.
Doesn't this remind you of the very first game of this season when Saskatchewan lost in the final minute to the Calgary Stampeders, when it appeared the game was won by the home team?
Oh, I'm sure that's going right through John Gregory's mind right now. I mean, his team has played hard today. They've played well. They've done things, not all things well, but a lot of things well. Good enough to be ahead at this point with 1:03 left. Just hate to have it blown away.
Yet another example that Yogi Berra knew what he was talking about. The game is not over until then. Clements trying to get it all at once. Touchdown! Irony of ironies, it's Perry Tuttle who catches it. 37 yards, Clements to Perry Tuttle for the touchdown.
Well, that's where Perry Tuttle's speed as an inside receiver comes into play. He's able to get downfield, threaten in between the two defensive backs, Norris Gibbs and Joe Fuller, and the ball dropped right on the money by Tom Clements. Throw well enough so the defensive backs this time can't recover.
Well, maybe it all looks good in the end for the Blue Bombers. Blue Bombers lead 29-25.
Well, this is the man they call the Pat Boone of the CFL. Always stays on an even plane. But you can't believe he doesn't get excited.
Well, you could see he knew that was a potential touchdown the minute he threw it. And from an unemotional guy, that's a reaction that says something right there.
Yeah, that vertical jump could have slam dunked a basketball. Well, the only good thing about that play is it happened quickly, and the Riders still have 56 seconds to try to get back downfield.
Maybe that was part of the play's success. Saskatchewan might have felt that Winnipeg would fire a couple of short ones, keep the field goal in the back of their mind, but try to use as much of the 63 seconds as possible. And Clements said, no, we're going to zap them right away. Another good, deep kick by Kennard. And Jaycox will try to spring a big return. Not so. He gets to the 26-yard line. Tuttle paid for the touchdown with an injury.
It's hard to tell what's wrong. They're getting that shoe off. Possibly wanted to take a look at that ankle, cutting the tape off along with the shoe.
So Saskatchewan still has a shot, down by 4. Bedford throws, and catch is made by Tony Dennis.
the pressure's on the youngster again. Jeff Bentram's got to make something go here.
Elgard makes the catch and importantly gets out of bounds. But the field goal is no good to Saskatchewan. They trail by 4. There must be a touchdown, and it's rookie Jeff Bentram calling the signals. I suppose we could stop and be quiet and hear a few cheers. Bentram fires a bullet, but Armstrong can't handle. He's been watching Winnipeg too long. But after all of those catches, the toughest drop 2 weeks ago and last week and this week, Perry Tuttle, who might have been the worst defender, comes down with the biggest catch of this game.
Well, the great receivers always come down with the big ones. He'll always say there's opportunity, and the great ones take advantage of that opportunity.
38 seconds to go. The Riders must score a touchdown, and they're back at their 38-yard line. Bentram has it picked off by Jefferson. He's had 2 interceptions today. First from Burgess, this one by Jeff Bentram, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders are as unhappy as those Blue Bombers are ecstatic.
Well, this play was successful in the first half for both Burgess and secondly for Bentram. He sees it, but Jefferson's right in Jaycock's back pocket. I mean, he couldn't be any closer without touching him. And when the ball's delivered in there, it's not a long pass, but Jefferson comes underneath, makes the interception.
There are several thousand Winnipeg fans here, and they're obviously just as happy as the players. It's been a worthwhile trip, and the visitors in this city will be celebrating tonight. All the fans of the home team will go away and wonder about this one, and I really do think that the comparison to the season opener is amazing.
Well, you look at last week when Winnipeg did such a great job in the second half against BC. Emotionally, they were just riding the crest. They felt and they knew they could win the football game, and they fell short by a point. This week, it's the other way around. The Riders feel they've got victory right there. They're going to take it. They played hard, but they just fell short again.
8 seconds to go. It is third down for Winnipeg, and the Bombers will come to the ball one last time and move into first place in the East. 2 points ahead of Hamilton. The Tiger Cats can have something to say about that tomorrow when they host the Argos. Meanwhile, Saskatchewan remains last in the West.
Well, the 1987 Winnipeg Blue Bombers pulled off the upset on Labor Day in Regina. Sometimes play calling is more important than play execution. You really have to question the pass by rookie quarterback Jeff Bentram in for the injured Tom Burgess. If Saskatchewan had run the fullback more and taken some time off that clock, it would have been one less of an opportunity for Tom Clements, the veteran quarterback, as he hit Perry Tuttle for a game-winning 37-yard score in the fourth quarter. The Bombers had a successful season. They went on to go 12-6, only to lose to the Toronto Argonauts in the Eastern Final. But this 1987 team, that laid the foundation for some great Bomber football teams in the late 80s and the early 90s. That's it for the show. A special thanks to Mary Ann and John from the Canadian Football Hall of Fame for dressing up our set. For ESPN Classic Canada, I'm Chris Schultz. Thanks for watching.